Hello, everybody, and welcome to Movie.Cast, the podcast where we talk about everything films. Mike with you, as always joined by Costa and Amber. And then we have a special guest today. Tom has joined us.
Hey, Internet.
We are going to talk about Jurassic World. Big movie came out this weekend.
Dinosaurs.
So what, as normal with our reviews, we like to do a spoiler-free roundtable first. So we will try to avoid giving away any details in this first round of opinions. We'll start off, we'll start off with Tom in a minute. Hold on. Let me explain, Tom.
Right, okay.
Jeez, you're so anxious. After we are done our spoiler-free section, you're going to hear the dying sound of our good old German friend, Mr. Wilhelm. The minute you hear the Wilhelm scream, we have entered spoiler territory. Continue watching at your own risk. So, let's kick it off. Tom? Now, what did you think of Jurassic World?
Well, it pretty much was my childhood 20 years too late. When I was 8 years old and I saw Jurassic Park for the first time, I wanted to see the park full of people just getting eaten by dinosaurs. And like at the end of the first movie, I'm like, just open it anyway. It'd be awesome to like run from a T-Rex as the ride. And so now they have that kind of.
A little bit.
Accidentally. The dinosaur action I thought was fun. Awesome, really. The acting, I mean, the cast was great, but the acting, the lines were just kind of silly. The dialogue was kind of contrived, a little bit goofy. But I would definitely, I want to see it again. It was lots of dinosaur action, dinosaur fun, and just a bunch of, it's a goofy, fun popcorn movie that happens to be the Jurassic Park franchise. So it's all about it.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to Amber now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Why not? Might as well just go around, keep you all on your toes.
Okay.
What did you think?
I'm gonna be in the same group with Tom, but we're like the same age too, so it's like might be a little 20 years too late as well, because I was in second grade when that movie came out during the summer, and I remember everybody talking about Jurassic Park and stuff. So it's definitely better than I was expecting. That second trailer when I first saw it, with like the teaser got me, and then I saw the trailer for it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know, I don't want this to be part 2 Jurassic World.
The first teaser was just like evacuate the island and the soft piano, right?
Yes, the soft piano.
Yeah, the
really
trailer
got
had the
to me.
mosasaur and stuff, and it was wild.
But it was actually better. I mean, it's better than 2 and 3. It's still not Jurassic Park, but I thought it was fun. I did like the dino action, and I agree too with some of the characters and the dialogue, and I could do without the kids, like the one kid just crying, and there wasn't, and the dinosaurs weren't attacking it. He was just crying because of issues. You know, and it's just like you're in Jurassic World.
Family issues.
Stop crying. But I loved there's an action sequence at the end that was awesome, and so it was fun, like, to go see it. It is definitely, like you said, a popcorn movie, and I don't know if I'd go and see it again, but if it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD,
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I might not pay $10 to see it again, but Blu-ray, like,
yeah, I
day one,
definitely
I'll buy
would
it.
want to see it again if it comes out on Bluray or whatever. So it was fun.
Does this podcast promote piracy?
No, we probably should.
Then I do not want to watch it online anywhere.
No.
Nowhere.
Only when you buy it.
Only when I buy
out of
it.
a wrapper.
We are good, honest working people
Red
who
box.
like to buy our movies.
For $1.
Yeah.
Honestly, and not criminally.
Freeload off of a friend who buys it on Blu-ray.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and if you happen to have a friend who bootlegs the movies and you watch it with them, you know, that's not a crime, right?
What if I just steal $1 off of you and go to Netflix?
No.
Or Redbox.
Yeah, Redbox.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Redbox,
definitely
Redbox,
$1 wouldn't get you much
yeah,
on that.
Redbox.
All right, Costa, go ahead, give us your opinion of it.
Jurassic World was a bit of a mixed bag for me. I mean, it had some good humor, you know, kind of like cheesy humor, which, you know, we said that we all laughed at it.
Yeah.
I also agree with Tom and Amber. The action in it was very good towards the end. Yeah, I would say that if you're a fan of the Jurassic series, like you grew up with it, you know, I think it's worth seeing because you kind of get that little bit of nostalgia
Yeah.
with it. No Jeff Goldblum though, sadly.
I was rooting for a Jeff Goldblum too.
Well, not directly in like acting in the movie, but
keep your eye on the background.
yeah, little Easter eggs in the movie, but I didn't care for the brothers. Like you said, they just seemed kind of out of place there. Like their little side story did nothing for me.
The one's haircut was just too much. It was just get a haircut.
That's any kid who hit 12 years old.
Yeah, that's true. you should
Yeah, I
see
think it's a sign of getting old, telling kids, cut your hair.
Well, it was just like,
young snapper.
Stop crying and cut your hair.
And wasn't the older brother wearing a hoodie?
Well, he at one
In
point,
Costa
yeah.
Rica on a tropical island?
He had the hood up
Yeah,
and he
he
had
was.
his Beats headphones.
Yeah.
Like,
You
you're
know.
in Costa Rica, everyone else is wearing shorts and like button-down short-sleeve shirts, and he's wearing a hoodie. I'm like, come on.
Well, and it kept being like a swing of emotions, like every minute. Like the kid's excited, oh now he's sad because his brother's being mean. Oh, he's excited again, and now he's sad about the divorce.
That's why
When the mood swings kick in around that age.
I guess that's fair.
I mean, I liked
Go ahead.
liked Chris Pratt in it. He essentially, I mean, the lines he delivered were based like all other roles he's played in the past. Same sort of delivery that we're all used to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I would say, I don't know if I myself would buy it on Blu-ray when it came out. I probably wouldn't. I would suggest to anyone who misses out on the theater run, hopefully it lands on Netflix or you can Redbox it. I don't think I would drop $30 on the Blu-ray for it.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Now, I think it's kind of like an interesting, like, kind of generational thing, because I have seen, Jurassic Park in the past, but never like the full thing, and I didn't really grow up with it as a nostalgic film.
Wait, so you
the
haven't
full thing?
I've
seen
seen
all of
bit,
Jurassic Park?
No, I've
And
seen
you
the
didn't
bits
go
of
and
the
watch
first-
Jurassic Park
film?
before seeing this?
No,
There was a
I
whole
didn't have
first
time.
film?
I've seen parts of it.
The
but
first film.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but never I never sat down to really watch the whole thing, and I didn't grow up. All I mean is I didn't grow up with it like as some people did.
Oh, I thought you were just saying
You
I've
know?
only seen parts of it, of the first film.
Well, I have.
So you
all
haven't seen the entire film.
Right, not all together. No.
So you have, you have a different...
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So that's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Different mindset going.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting. Yeah, that's the point I'm getting to. Is that so it's like, but I do understand at times when they did throw the homages to Jurassic Park. I could pick up on it. I could be like, okay, fans probably appreciated that. But from my perspective, I don't know. It basically, along with what everybody else said, I had problems with the story itself. The dinosaur action sure was cool for the most part. It had some cool things, but it felt like every cool thing that they did was then followed up by just something illogical that didn't make any sense to me. But it had moments of enjoyment. I liked the humor in it. I was surprised that Jake Johnson was in it, the guy from New Girl.
I think what it was is because he was in Colin Trevorrow's first film. Safety Not Guaranteed.
Oh, that's true.
Oh,
he
okay.
was. Yeah.
That makes
It's
sense then.
Yeah.
But he also fits that
I
character.
guarantee you a phone call. Colin, you're making Jurassic Park 4? I mean,
Yeah.
we're friends.
Right?
I'll play a park ranger. Let me in.
I will be a person who gets eaten by a
I
dinosaur.
will be the
don't
kid that
care.
gets eaten on the toilet.
That sounds exactly like how he
I'll
would
be a
have
hot
said
dog
it too.
vendor. Just put me in there.
But that role that they gave him was perfect though. That was that sort of. But so I enjoyed him and I enjoyed some elements of it. Chris Pratt was okay. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't wow me with his performance. There was nothing in his performance that said somebody else couldn't have done this.
I don't know if the director Trevor told him to tone it down a bit, because you see him in interviews and Guardians of the Galaxy and Parks and Rec. He's a lot goofier than what he was.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
tuned down,
He
definitely.
was
sure.
trying to
Yeah.
be like we need to be the gruff badass. Like, okay.
Well, right, absolutely. Well, and that's probably just the character design they had.
Yeah.
I mean, just like some of the lines though, you could tell still had that.
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Pratt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, his back and forth with Bryce Dallas Howard during that one scene, that was that felt okay, that's
Yeah.
Chris Pratt right there.
I wasn't Navajo.
Yeah, not Navajo. I was Navy. Yeah. So overall, I think I don't really think I gained anything by watching it. I don't think it was spectacular by any means. None of the visuals really impressed me, just because I knew it was all CG and it just didn't look impressive to me. It's
definitely a lot less dinosaur robots.
Right, yeah. But that's the funny thing, because I just saw some bits of the Lost World Jurassic Park recently, and that even still looks more realistic, you know, nowadays. And that looks even still more realistic than this movie did, you know, so...
The CGI dinosaurs, you can definitely tell.
Right, exactly.
For the first trailer when he's like telling all four of them to calm down, you're like, oh, this is CGI.
Right, exactly.
So it'll be dated in like 10 years.
Exactly,
but
yeah.
the Brachiosaurus scene in the first Jurassic Park is dated like it is now. I mean, you can definitely tell, like, oh, that's definitely CGI. It looks so smooth and like not up to date 20 years ago.
Right, right. Well, I guess it's the same thing. Like if you look at Lord of the Rings, like yes, like you can tell some of the effects are outdated, but you can give it a pass because it's more realistic than it is not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I was watching part of The Matrix yesterday. The
The
second one, the car chase scene from the second
Oh
one.
God.
Which is a great car chase scene, but you can tell at the end.
Yeah.
That's definitely just like Xbox video game graphics.
Oh even worse.
Into the sky.
Well, even worse is Neo's fight with the Smiths in that movie. Like and you can tell in the mid point of the fight when it shifts to the CG because it looks realistic at first, and you're like, okay, this is kind of fun, and then he turns into rubber, and then you're like,
how did his skin get so clear? So smooth.
So I mean, if you are a fan of Jurassic Park and all the series, sure, I guess it's good enough that you'll probably get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
I think it's just an average summer film, and a popcorn film if you want to turn off your brain and enjoy it, fine. But it just had too many problems for me to actually enjoy it. So that's my spoiler-free review.
Watch the first.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I might have to go back and rewatch.
So I feel like if you watch the first one, you'd be like, this is such a better movie.
Yeah, and that might be true.
It is still. It's still better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so let's really dig in now. Let's give everything away, shall we?
Should we just give like the premises then of what this movie is about?
We
like,
can.
Yeah. The trailer kind of said it. But
yeah.
The park is
open.
The park is open. It's a big old hit, but the marketing department, just the investors want more bang for the buck, and so InGen and just the Gen X department, which is what's his name? BD Wong, not BD. Yeah, BD Wong.
Who was from the first one?
Yes. Yeah.
I think he's one of the two guys. I don't know for a fact. The helicopter pilot who was with Mizrani, was that the guy driving the Jeep in the first one? Just the guy just kind of sitting there, look like in the first movie, the Brachiosaurus scene, like it's the lawyer and Goldblum in the Jeep, and the guy just kind of sitting looking forward the entire time. The voice was identical, the shades were identical. I'm like, is that the same guy? Just like a little like sneaky cameo.
I just know like he was the scientist.
Yeah, Henry was back. Yeah, and he was like the head of InGen now.
Yeah.
So he's like almost like
he's a raptor.
He kind of becomes the bad guy.
He really is, and you know what? It makes me think that because you know in the first movie, spoilers, Mike. Newman.
Yes, Nedry.
Yeah, his whole thing was he was trying to get the embryos and stuff out of the park to sell to other people.
Global something, I think it was called.
Yeah. So I wonder if maybe there's more of a backstory with him and what's his face might have been connected with it.
Well, Nedry's been dead.
No. I'm saying but with the
oh, you mean like someone
guy.
bought out Henry?
Well, yeah, because he's like I said, he's the only one that really got off the island during the.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, maybe if they decide to do another Jurassic film.
The sequel was set up for real. I mean, it's like we had they sent Henry off with all the embryos on a helicopter, and they can make more dinosaurs now.
Yeah.
And the only people, and then I guess Bryce Dallas Howard's character Claire and I don't even, what's bad is I don't even know what Chris Pratt's character's name was.
Owen.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're like kind of the only two that know that they left, so know that I guess that scientist guy got away. It seems like she knows.
I guess, because they had it back. They went there and saw
I mean, she was like, where did everything go? Because all this should still be here.
It was funny though, because I specifically said to them, like, after the movie was done, and I just kind of turned to them and I'm like, so Claire there is going to be kind of screwed, isn't she? She's out of her job. She's probably going to face 1 million lawsuits.
Technically, it's the company. She just works for the car.
It doesn't matter. They'll find some because she's like a high-end.
People that were involved in that project are going to be liable in some way, shape, or form.
Right, especially because she was like a high-end part,
and then a lot of the bad guys died. Who do you blame? Well, you were in charge.
Right, exactly. And then a lot of people would like point out, like, if there was a lawsuit against her, there would be witnesses who would have overheard her say, well, if we order an evacuation, the park will never be opened again. So therefore, they would have evidence to say she deliberately didn't evacuate the island.
But technically, it was
Are you saying Jake Johnson and Lon Left were turning their boss?
They could. They could.
Well, technically, she was going also by what her boss was telling her. I forget, the millionaire guy was the one. Yeah.
No, but she was the first one to reject Chris Pratt's notion of evacuation.
Yes.
Yes.
She was the very first.
And then, but like all the other stuff that happened afterwards was kind of like she didn't have anything to do with the pterodactyls getting out, because it was after the pterodactyls got out that everybody.
But it's one of those things. It would fall under her purview, though.
I guess
because
so.
anybody who is at that park is under that company's liability.
I feel like either way it'll just company
like the same
itself.
thing.
Domino effect.
Right, exactly. Like if a ride breaks down at Six Flags and somebody dies, whoever's running the Six Flags, they're going to get in a lot of trouble. They're going to face a lawsuit. So she's kind of screwed if you think about it. It's such a happy ending,
It's
except
like the
she's
whole
screwed.
company's fault, because who the heck would want to they couldn't even get past, when Jurassic Park, the first movie, they couldn't even get past the testing without people getting killed off.
And no wonder, because
and they didn't want to talk about it. That was one of my interesting things when he was wearing the
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, they even said
shirt,
it,
and
like,
she's
it's
like,
in
"Why
bad
are you
taste."
wearing that?"
Yeah.
And there's a whole cool backstory to that. Like, there's the whole park being built, the whole design of that park. There's some crazy good backstory that would be a good movie or TV show where it's just like the cover up of Jurassic Park. People trying to buy merchandise off eBay for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The original park.
The original park, all that kind of stuff. And just so then how do you get the fun to build the park back up again? How do you train to work these animal cages?
I would actually love that as a TV show.
Yeah, how do you
fantastic.
How do you learn to build a T-Rex cage?
You just gave Universal, and they're gonna do
a
prequel to Jurassic World. It'll be a sequel to the previous.
Well, also it's like how.
Yeah, but back to the plot. I mean, so InGen has been told build your dinosaurs bigger, better, scarier. So they end up making a hybrid dinosaur, which is a cross between a velociraptor and a T-Rex, a bunch of different stuff.
A
bunch
gecko.
of other amphibians.
That can so it can camouflage itself.
Cuttlefish.
It can
Cuttlefish,
camouflage itself. It can turn off its body heat. It can talk to raptors.
Apparently.
Run faster than T-Rex.
So we have a bilingual or multilingual dinosaur.
Basically.
The Christoph Waltz of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Is running amok.
Right. So basically he gets out, and then of course all hell breaks loose as they try to contain it, but it's more powerful.
She's really smart, supposedly.
Yeah.
And she's not just killing for food; she's just killing for sport because she can.
Right.
Yeah.
So
They pretty much she's lived in captivity her entire life, and they break her out, and she doesn't know what she's capable of, or who's good, who's bad. She's just like, this is new and confusing. I'm gonna eat it.
I mean, can I just do a mini tirade about how terrible this park is handled? I mean, first of all, I'm saying even from the beginning. First of all, they're on their own island that they've built up all this advanced technology, and yet their basic communication technologies kept failing for no reason whatsoever.
Well, if you see
they couldn't make radio calls properly.
Too, that was the same problem as well.
I mean, they couldn't make radio calls properly. They couldn't communicate. It seemed like everything came out of that control center, which made no sense, because then it's how do you communicate to all these different?
And we told you it's because Verizon.
That's true. Verizon presents a Dominus Rex.
Yeah, exactly.
And they couldn't. Their communications
they all had
technology was not very
Verizon or
good.
Samsung phones, and they're like, well, these, even though they're supposed to be sponsored for the movie, show that it's really crappy.
I wonder if someone from the marketing team at Verizon see this movie and son of a bitch.
Did you guys see the Margaritaville sign? There was a Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville.
There
World.
And even better, remember when you said you saw somebody who grabbed 2 margaritas running away from the pterodactyl? That was Jimmy Buffett.
Was it?
That was Jimmy Buffett.
Well,
I just read that was Jimmy
Buffett. I thought it was
Buffett.
hilarious when the pterodactyls start attacking the park and the people are running, and you see, I guess it is Jimmy Buffett, but he has 2 margaritas, and
he
picks
just grabs
them up
2
and
and
he
then just
starts
runs.
running.
I gotta go.
And so anyway, their communication is just terrible throughout the whole film. They can't radio people for no reason whatsoever. I'm just like, why is it so bad? There's no reason for it to be bad. None of the dinosaurs attacked their communication relays or anything like that. Secondly,
they should have though. They should have had a scene.
And maybe they should have. Yeah, that would have made at
Would have
least
been a cutscene.
Right.
The cutout.
The
Right,
Dominus
exactly.
Rex is like, oh no, and just
And
I sense cell phone towers.
Boom. And I'm sorry, but the gyrospheres, while being a cool idea, made no sense whatsoever, just because there is no amusement park, whether or not it's filled with dinosaurs or not, that would allow its patrons to control something completely independently
and
without anybody. Right.
Yeah.
And here's another thing too. When they thought that they had lost the Andromedus Rex at first because it was tricking them into thinking that first of all, she jumps in a car, immediately starts heading back to the command center, and on the way she calls and says, we have a tracker inside it. Pull it up. Like, wait, you had to get into the car and say that? Couldn't you just phone while you were standing there and say, hey, can you pull up the tracker for Andromedus Rex so I can see where it is? And then you see that it was right there.
I would have told Mr. Fat Guy off to the side. He was like, it wasn't here. Okay, well, you...
What has he been doing? What was he doing that whole time?
If you notice, he wasn't even facing the cage. His back was to the cage.
Right. That's his one job. All of that just like, it's just mind-boggling how bad this is. Like this is just incompetence at its worst.
Well, I just, like, I was telling you guys, I think, like, story-wise and the character-wise, like, I could have done without the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I get, like, they got the kids because I think in almost all of the movies, they've always had a kid in there, like, in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the third one was a kid being lost in the land. The second one was with Jeff Goldblum's adopted daughter. And obviously the first one had the two grandkids.
Yeah.
Which I think out of all the kids, they're the best ones because they react more realistically. Because you were saying, like, they ran away from the thing.
The first movie was
screaming.
Like the child dinosaur expert and like this tech smart girl.
Yeah,
this time it's the child dinosaur expert who also is super mopey. And then the asshole, can I say
older
that?
brother.
Yeah, sure,
The asshole older brother.
That just like looks at every like creeper, all the girls, any girl.
Kid just walking
just
around.
lurking on him too.
He's just like,
exactly.
My biggest problem with a lot of the film felt like stock characters and
they were stock.
characters.
They were basically stock characters from like the first movie.
You have the stock military general guy who every time it got so annoying because it was a good actor, Vincent D'Onofrio, who we now know as Kingpin from the Daredevil series, but he's a good actor, but he's just restricted by this. Like
his
every
character
time he
was
appeared
so
on
weird because
screen,
he was goofy at first, and you thought he was going to be like a goofy, like the Newman character.
Yeah.
Well, well, it got annoying because every time he appeared on screen, it was let's use the Raptors, let's use the Raptors, let's use the Raptors every single time. I was like,
that was his
oh
whole
my
mission.
god,
his whole mission was he
come
wants
on.
to militarize these dinosaurs.
Well, right.
At the end, they revealed like the whole thing. They want to build a smaller Indominus Rex to send out
which
to
is called
fight
a
armies.
raptor.
No, but they
I know, but it's basically,
hybrid.
Basically a raptor.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And then like right, exactly, and then everything else. Then you have Bryce Dallas Howard, who's like the stock, commander person in charge.
She's the director of
person
the
in
park.
charge.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Stock person in charge. Then everything falls apart under.
And she's just she was just so annoyingly hard-headed.
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
movie. You know, to the point where it's like, really, you don't seem to see any problems with everything that's going on.
She's also the one where like she invited her nephews, and then she's like, I don't know how old you are. And when,
How do I kid?
Yeah, like she's like there was one scene where
I don't know how to deal with children.
There was one scene where like they're missing, and she goes to Chris Pratt. She's like, I need you to go and find my nephews, and he's like, okay, how old are they? She's like, the one's like this size, and then the other one's
good.
And he's like, you
I mean,
don't know
and
how
that was
old
kind of
you're.
funny,
like,
was kind of funny.
That's basically
but,
her character.
But that but that just felt odd to me. Like why Chris Pratt would ask that. That just felt like he only asked that question just to prove how much of a jerk she is about her.
Well, I think
nephew.
it's a. I think that's a logical.
Well, she asked him to help
save my kids, but why does that? But why does that prompt? But why does that prompt how old they are?
Well, how old do they look
because there's a million kids in
Could
the
have
park.
bearing on like, are they 20 years old or are they like 5
Okay,
years old?
What do they look
but then wouldn't the appropriate first question be what do they look like, not how old are they?
Well,
then it breaks down to 2 white kids.
Yeah, like
no, I mean like what they're wearing and stuff
she
like
doesn't
that.
She didn't know that.
She doesn't know that she didn't even know how old they were.
And also, I want to call BS on them fixing the Jeep.
Of course, that was terrible.
The Jeep that is sitting for 20
years. I don't think
Awful.
there's any gas. That's
First of all,
They found a
'92
perfect
Jeep
battery.
Wrangler, sand beige.
Oh my god!
Up to that point, we had no idea that that either one of them would have had any knowledge on how to, or like any sort of mechanical knowledge on how to repair a car. And in just that one moment, the fact that he's able to identify the vehicle, it's like, oh, do you remember how great how Grandpa showed us how he fixed
his Malibu? And he's like, yeah, I do. All right, let's go.
Boom. All right, we gotta go.
That was a GM vehicle too, guys.
I thought it would have just been awesome if instead of the vehicle, like the kid just took the
goggles.
The goggles. Yeah. I was like, okay, let's use the goggles. Let's get nighttime.
And then he just like throws them all to the side.
And he turns them on. I was like, no, you should use those goggles.
Yeah,
it's
help you. Yeah. About sun's going down. That would help.
I thought that's where it was gonna go. Is they're gonna get stuck at the old. Because they find the old like Jurassic Park,
right?
Which
which feels like it's only like this
it was a lot
big.
bigger, but I guess that it was really
like they made it feel like it was only like a house size, like a small house.
Well, I'm curious because like when they would show the map of the island, or if they had like the whole northern part like as restricted. I wonder if most of that is
where the old park was at,
which would be awesome, like an old decrepit version of the park.
Right, but they just showed that little portion there, like the entrance. Though, but there's probably all that extra and like
didn't Lost World have a little bit of that, like with the old park, or was that on a different island entirely?
I thought it was.
But they showed part of the old. They showed old ruins.
But didn't they do that in the third one too?
I don't know if they did.
Because
they found a hatch.
Yeah, the kid was in the hatch, but I thought they were in the area of where the old park was.
Maybe.
I would have loved to have just seen a whole movie where they had gotten stuck where the old park was. I mean, and then it was nighttime and they have to stay in there, and the raptor.
The haunted ruins of Jurassic Park from 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Live in your hubris.
With the old hats and took one of the old Jurassic Park shirts on, and like
you just have to live through their mistakes again in the old park. Would be a great little thing.
It was just I was just totally just like these kids seem incredibly incompetent, but then at the same time just like absolute geniuses at the same time. Like I don't understand how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and then
so frustrating.
And then one of the most frustrating parts of it for me was. Okay, so we have the scene where the pterodactyls get out, right, and they start attacking everybody,
awesome.
right? And it was, I was enjoying it, but then they just decide, okay, it's done, and then they jump and skip ahead to like because that scene takes place in what looks like midday, and then the very next scene, it's suddenly dark at night, and I'm just like, wait, what happened? Did the pterodactyls just clear out and then that was
and
it?
I told you they went to bed because they're
that's what I'm saying. You can't just cut away from an action scene and then just expect me to think, oh, it's all good now. Because then I'm like, well, how many hours have passed? And how long has this dinosaur been just roaming around randomly
all
that
day.
you all have been? That you all have been. And then they get there and then they're just standing there talking. I'm like, you guys realize there's a dangerous dinosaur on the loose, right?
It was because it was weird because what was it? They were attacking
jump.
and the guy dies in the helicopter.
Right.
And then D'Onofrio's character comes in and is like, all right, I'm in command.
Yeah, the coolest sequence. We gotta focus on the sequence for a minute.
Yeah, the sequence was neat, but then, of course, it was at that moment when he took over, then they just made that immediate jump and like, okay, this is what things are like now 4 hours later. But again, but that's how they do it.
And what I also don't get either, he comes storming in with his, like,
team.
The team, and it was like, you all are relieved of duty. But then he keeps them? Anyway,
well, he kept what?
Why didn't? Why? But why?
Probably because they know how to work the
console.
Yeah,
he came up here and said, "You all are relieved of duty." He didn't say except you two.
Well, if you notice,
he just came
Vincent
up and said,
D'Onofrio really liked
relieved
that
of
guy's
duty.
character because every time he'd show up over his shoulder, he was like always like
awesome.
He was squeezing his like shoulder, and he seemed like he was being sexually harassed because every time he's like looking over his shoulder, he's always
then
like,
he stole his cup.
Yeah, like I was like, he's really like digging that guy. He's like, but you.
My favorite part was when Chris Pratt just gets so angry that he smacks all the dinosaur toys off.
Yeah.
And Jake John's just like,
yeah.
I was just like, yes, awesome. Yeah. But the little things like that made no sense to me.
There's a scene or two missing between there. I don't know.
Yeah.
They could have showed
the
ex-military guy. I did like that scene where they're like bringing other people, and you just see this guy like, and then he just sees the bird and just shoots it.
Yeah, but then where is that? Where was that team initially though?
I don't know.
Where are they coming from?
They're being flown in.
But where? Why?
They have, I mean, they're like Secret Service.
Yeah, there's some sort of secret paramilitary group, but they came in, but they really didn't play much of a role because they
they all got killed. They all got killed.
It might have been the same team from Lost World 20 years ago, where there's the InGen team that comes in and starts like trapping the dinosaurs and stuff.
But wouldn't you agree though the way they framed it, like the guy just sitting there, just pulls, like, he shoots the dinosaur.
It made it seem like they were going to introduce these new characters,
play a more major part than they did.
And
they just ended up all dying.
They got killed off in Raptor Vision.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, I liked Chris Pratt, but in the same vein, he just kind of felt more like the stock, you know, badass
like
hero
the side
sort of.
chick dude.
I'm almost going to compare it with the same problems I had with Mad Max, even though he does have a bit more character than Mad Max did.
He has a lot more character.
He does, but he still wasn't. He still didn't actually do
he's
a
not
whole
the main.
lot.
He's really.
He
they
talked
make
a
him
bit.
like it.
He talked a bit, and he was like the moral compass of the movie, but he didn't really do anything in the film. A lot of the film he spent driving. A lot of the film he spent pointing guns somewhere.
I feel like he's
and
like
the rest of the film,
his
he spent
character
driving.
is basically the guy from the first one, the Australian guy with the raptors.
Muldoon.
Yeah, he was he was like he was Muldoon with a longer
life.
well,
Storyline.
he survived and he had a storyline, but so he had more to it because that's really what he was.
The same kind of the same raptor.
It's like, I understand raptors and I'm gonna get you out of here. And then the kids are like, that guy's awesome. You should totally, like, to their aunt, they're like, your boyfriend's awesome and I want to stay with him to survive.
That frustrates me is that they couldn't stay away from the romance eventually happening. That
It was
kinda-
like kind of like an unnecessary romance. It would have just been something where it was just like he.
Right, but you didn't point
But
out
they
like
didn't
what
even
kind of woman has an itinerary for a first date and yeah, like they were completely. You could tell they were completely like opposites of one another.
They could have just done it where like they had just met. Like he was just working there, and he was just an employee that she came across that her
and just
boss
because in
told
that
to go
moment,
to.
like she was able to save him from getting his face eaten.
Yeah.
And
then
then
he's like,
everything,
"Oh my
like
gosh."
in that one moment, is like
He's like, "This is the woman for me.
Me,
She
yeah.
saved me from that little flying bird dinosaur."
Yeah, and that's what also got annoying too. Is like, why is it that every main female character who is involved in like a situation like this always has to lose more articles of clothing throughout? Like she takes off her jacket at some
that was
point.
the most
and, like,
unbelievable
she just
part.
like tied it up and like
well, no, but then later she takes it off.
Well,
you know what I mean?
like
That's what
to
I'm saying. Like,
think of it
why?
as a-
Why do they always do that? Why? Like,
think of it in the form, at least in the world, like the Jurassic World, as like a character in a video game leveling up. She's like, all right, you know, right. She's like evolving or whatever. And then her taking the jacket off is like her final form. Like, all right, I mean business. I'm like in it now.
Like dinosaur.
Oh,
the
God,
opening shot was super cool, like the whole like SeaWorld looking thing.
Right,
And then at the end, here's the big spoiler: Mosasaur comes in, joins up with the raptor and the T-Rex, and they all take the dinosaur out and drag him into the water.
Yeah.
But in the middle, they had to show up again when the pterodactyls were flying around.
Yeah.
And it gets fed to the Mosasaur.
The assistant does. Yeah.
And so so it just sets the Mosasaur up as okay, here is the big dumb monster. Here's the big dumb creature that you know is just going to show up again the third time.
I
Oh,
feel-
here's the water. Here it
I
comes.
feel like that one should have been hidden. They should have done like kind of like where like nobody can really see it.
Maybe.
And then like the big reveal is when it comes up and grabs somebody.
I show it at the beginning and at the end.
Right,
Skip
yeah.
that- skip that
If
second
they
one.
bookmarked it, especially because in that second one, like I mentioned this to you guys after we saw it, like, during that whole pterodactyl sequence, you know, everybody's scrambling everywhere, and they take the time to show the assistant getting picked up, and then there's this really long, dragged out
hold
sequence
on,
where
that was
she's.
my favorite kill in the entire film.
Okay, but why? It almost feels like the movie was saying, "Oh, this assistant was such a bad person, and she deserves to die like
not
that."
No,
at
I
all.
didn't think it was that. She was
It
just.
kind of felt like it, though.
I
It's
did,
like,
and
why
She
are we focusing
definitely
so
did have
long
one of
on
the
this
more
random
gruesome-
assistant?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Because like the flying dinosaurs, the petrodons, and whatever those animals, what those species, those things were. Like in the third movie, they kind of got a little bit of action. This was like their big debut on it.
Yeah.
Like here's the aviary. They bust out. One of them pulls the gunman out of the helicopter. The other one impales it with his beak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The helicopter crashes. They go everywhere. They freaking swarm all the families.
Yeah.
And these things are huge. They're knocking over like families, like picking up triceratops. It's amazing.
I think like for me, I was like, I didn't realize how dangerous those birds like they were. I figured like, oh, they're just you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking of The Land Before Time with
The InGen, that company, right? They were based on that island, right?
I don't think they were.
Were they?
No.
Okay, but then that sets up another problem. If they're not based on the island, how on the road are they receiving like dinosaurs from them and not like without knowing what they're made of?
InGen is the genetics company.
Right, but the genetics company is making these dinosaurs.
On the island.
No, they are on the island because they showed it at the
Well,
end.
no, they're on the island, yes, but it's just like, you know, there are teams that just go out and retrieve the fossils and whatnot and bring them
Okay,
back.
but that's what I'm saying though. But then, okay, they're on the island. How do they not have scientists who don't report what every dinosaur is made of?
Oh no,
Or is
they
it
know
just-
they know what it is, but they just like
They were
No, but I
saying
mean
it's
like to the
classified.
corporate levels, because wouldn't the corporate people, like Bryce Dallas Howard's character, wouldn't she A, want to know, and B, have to?
Well,
I think she did know.
I think
no, she didn't.
I thought she
Remember?
did.
No, she
they
did.
specifically pointed out she-
No,
because she told Chris Pratt that the rest was classified. She's like the
classified
like,
from her, because even
No,
she
no,
didn't
no,
know.
she-
No,
she didn't say
I
that.
got that she did know.
No, she knew.
But she wasn't telling.
Like-
She didn't tell Chris Pratt because he didn't have. Like,
Yeah,
look,
'cause-
she's like this and this and some other stuff. That
But then
is-
wouldn't he have?
That's
But then wouldn't
classified.
he have gotten angry at her for not? If he thought that she knew?
He did, and he was going to go see the genetics lab to talk to them, which is what you saw on the
Right.
satellite feed. Him arguing with one of the security guards.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
big
no,
I
when she
think
goes
the
and
big
rectifies
issue
him.
would have
Wait,
been that
no,
the
no.
millionaire guy wasn't the one that knew about it. He didn't
Yeah.
know what
Well,
was mixed with
I
it.
think both of them. Though, again, I don't think.
I feel like she
I
did.
feel like they
I don't
missed
think.
that. I think that's a subplot then that they completely just ignored. That.
Well, yeah,
that
they
should
did.
have been a more
I think
blatant
the thing
subplot.
is that she knew what it was made
If
out
she
of.
knew
She
what-
just didn't know what it could do. Like she didn't know that it could camouflage. She didn't
Right.
know that it
But
was.
how would they not know that if they knew what it was made of?
Well, because they didn't know what the genetics
Right.
was grabbing from.
I'm
they
almost,
just
I'm
mixed
almost
it
certain.
with.
But
I'm
they
almost certain that
should've
she
just
knew
known.
that the thing was mostly built on the genetics of the T-Rex and the raptor.
Because if you
But
when
then- but
you
then-
no
but-
because
but-
when the millionaire guy was having the discussion with the who's the
Henry,
The Asian guy, sorry.
The head genetic guy.
yeah the head genetics guy, he was saying, what did you put in there because it's doing this, this, and this? And he was like, oh, well, I guess, you know, he's like, you told me to make something different, so I put these things in because it had to balance out with this kind of monster. And he acted like he didn't really know what it was going to do. It's just like,
He didn't. They mentioned that.
Yeah,
too.
he
It's like-
didn't. He just said,
like-
this is what I put in
They
it.
said, and since in the last 20 years, they also said dinosaurs like had feathers and different kind of things. Like a raptor actually is like the size of a turkey, but they just didn't know when they made the first movie, and so they threw it in
But
as an element of this film. They were talking about how like dinosaurs didn't look like this. We're filling in the holes. They're gonna be different. They're gonna be wild. We can't control.
Right.
these
Yeah,
things.
and
Right.
like,
But
yeah,
then-
so he didn't
But then-
realize, he
but then
didn't
I
even
guess,
know.
But then I guess then they do ignore the huge subplot that she should have been like
More
put, like,
forthright.
not more forthright, but that somebody should have accused her of knowing and not saying anything. She gets away.
They didn't have
with,
time.
Yeah, they don't have
that's
time
what
for
I'm
that.
saying.
That's
but
a
that-
whole
but that's-
nother, like-
but that's-
Dominus is heading south.
But that's
Yeah.
stupid
No time.
though. But that's stupid that they ignored that though, because then at least that gives like the view that she's an even worse person than she's actually revealing,
Well,
or that the movie's revealing to us.
I don't think
Because
she was a bad person. It was just she was working
Her
too
job.
hard. She was working too hard and focusing on the wrong
But,
thing.
Yeah.
but wouldn't in any other film, wouldn't it have been revealed that she had held that information back, and when that is revealed, somebody was getting angry at her? And think of any other movie you can think of where somebody withholds information intentionally.
Well, that was-
eventually it gets exposed.
that
and
was the
somebody's
Chris
supposed to
Pratt
get angry
thing when
at
she
them.
said, I'm
But-
not
but
going to
that
tell
never
you.
happened.
Well, that's the only time that
But
she
that
ever
never
had that
happened.
conversation.
That's because
about-
we're not at the court afterwards where everybody's
Yeah.
like suing. At that part,
Yeah.
then yes, but she's dealing with, all right, I have to
Jurassic
back, I
Park
have,
5.
yeah, the lawsuit.
Jurassic.
Well, I will tell you this though, I think Dino-Mite was better looking than the dinosaurs on here.
Listen, what they should do is they should get Chris Pratt dress up as Star-Lord and have him ride Dino-Mite.
And they had
Oh my God.
D'Onofrio comes back as Bobby Gorn from Criminal Intent, Law and Order, and have him come back with Star-Lord.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
Blue's his new partner.
What if
And-
they bring
and-
back Joe Mazzello, actor who played Timmy from the first movie? He's done stuff. He was
Yeah.
in the Pacific. He's done acting.
I
since
thought
then.
he should be the one that
No.
should be next.
So, and then
with
what you
the
do
company.
is, and then you get the War Boys
No, just bring Joe Mazzello
from
back.
Mad Max, and they're instead of having Doof playing the guitar, you'll have Hasselhoff singing "True Survivor."
Oh my God.
Did we just not come up with a perfect Jurassic Park
I actually
sequel?
would. I
It's
actually
like a
would like
perfect
to have.
mashup right here.
It would have been more interesting if they were. I mean, to nostalgia reasons, I would like more to see like since the guy. I forget what is the Hammond's character. The guy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you'd figure his grandkids or his kids or whatever would
bring
be
Lex and Timmy back. Well, Lex is next. That's next.
Yeah, well,
But bring
that's
what they do.
wouldn't they be the ones in charge? Because I feel like if they were, they'd be like, no, we're not having
Or
that.
it's the inaugural first day of the park, or the first
You
day
know
of the
they
opening.
would. Yeah.
And they bring. Oh, there's the fifth movie. Open another park.
Yeah,
and
they're gonna
invite Grant and Malcolm and Lex and Timmy and all them back.
So after all the public lawsuits about this public shame of a disaster of a park, somebody's gonna have the guts or the, dare I say, the balls to propose another Jurassic Park after the first one failed before it even was made, and then this one failed.
This one failed after making lots of money for 5 or 6 years.
But then killed tons of people.
Not tons.
A lot of people were taken.
the other movies, they
That's
were.
another reason why you can't cut away from an action scene right in the middle of something like that. Because what, did the pterodactyls just fly
Jurassic
away?
Park 5, Pterodactyl Patrol. It was just like a task force traveling the world hunting down pterodactyls.
See, but we also don't even know what the other half of the deal was. All we know is that one half was that they would, they would militarize like the next version of the Indominus.
And even as we're saying, it would be kind of interesting if they do start off the next one with hunting down the pterodactyls who did get off the island.
Jurassic Park.
You know,
Jurassic.
that would be kind of interesting.
You didn't even, the first part
The next
was like
movie
they didn't
could just
open
be
up.
like, I'm sorry.
Go
Next
ahead.
movie could just be like urban explorers going to Jurassic Park and running from dinosaurs, and then like they have like a rescue team coming in and pick them up.
You know what? It would be interesting if they did like something where it's like way in the future. You know, where it is kind of like somebody shows up on the island, which I think could be like, I don't know if it might have been like third one or whatever, but it has been abandoned there, you know, whatever, and then people
The third one had
just
private
show,
tours.
and then see the how the dinosaurs have evolved. How long have they stayed alive there? Have they been able to procreate? Even though they said they're all supposed to be females.
But even though they weren't genetically modified to evolve faster, were they?
We don't know.
I don't think
so. I mean, the whole
Because,
thing, like from the first one, was
you
they're
know.
all supposed to be females, so they can't breed. But then
But they did.
But they did. Like a male did get in there. So it would be interesting to see if eventually, like, just leaving them there by themselves, like even though, like, just to see what would happen if like somebody just comes on.
So you're just talking about like the repopulation
Of an island, just an island full of dinosaurs because of it.
Okay, see, I can accept
And
that.
somebody
more of a
doesn't even
premise.
realize. Like
And there
they
could be a whole other part of that island we don't know about too, because we saw the one T-Rex. There could be more than one T-Rex, more than one mosasaur in the underwater.
Yeah.
There's
But
plenty
then-
more carnivores out there too.
especially when you have like a.
But then, but wouldn't all the backlash from the events of this movie like prompts something to happen to that island?
I mean, look what.
It
no,
sounds
yeah,
like the fifth movie just happened in your head.
I mean,
lock it down.
if you see the sequel, the other two sequels to that, they just abandoned the island,
But,
and the
but they wouldn't
dinosaurs
do
are
that.
still roaming.
They wouldn't do that though.
But they
Because now
did.
They would
because now you
bomb it
have-
or something.
yeah,
They
it's true.
would-
Also because
like,
now
if-
you have Margaritaville wants to go and like collect their insurance. Sephora wants to collect their insurance. Verizon wants to collect their insurance.
Well, right, but that's all in the lawsuits, you know.
Maybe.
That they would all be
maybe
facing.
there is something there that needs to be retrieved, and it gives them a reason
Well,
to go
that's
back.
and then that's.
But I'm saying,
That's
but
the
even
other
if-
two
even if
movies
that's-
again.
But even if
Yeah.
that's the case, wouldn't they have? I'm just saying.
A bunch of lawyers go to the island and just
In
start
today's
doing
world,
damage
that island
reports.
would have
All
been
of them,
reports.
and all of them
and
get killed
taken
while on
care
the
of.
toilet.
Yeah. So they bring back the T-Rex. First time, more realistic. They thaw out that mastodon they have somewhere in Europe, and
They never had a mastodon.
no,
on that.
a
What is
mammoth,
going on with that?
mammoth. Yeah, but they
yeah.
had the mammoth. The
They
mammoth.
never had one on.
But
in
they, but
Jurassic
I mean, there's a mammoth somewhere in Europe that's like under ice, and they want to try to clone it.
Yeah.
They clone this mammoth, and the mammoth kills one of its keepers one day. Put the mammoth down? No, it's a mammoth.
No, you're talking about the difference between killing one person and killing hundreds. This is a group of dinosaurs that killed hundreds.
Well, I was gonna say there's also like.
There's a huge difference.
Have
The
you ever
amount of
seen-
tragedy
They don't kill
makes
orcas,
it
they don't
different. Saying the reaction that sparks from a huge tragedy. That what happened in Jurassic World would have been considered a huge tragedy,
I
and it
agree,
would have
but-
sparked immediate overreaction.
So you're talking about an
The
island
overreaction is kill these dinosaurs, kill
Yes.
these extinct.
Don't you
and
think?
also-
Don't you really don't see
but also
that
to-
happening?
But also
I don't
to
see it with the
eviscerate a whole
9/11
natural
premise.
I see it.
landscape, though,
I see it more like.
ecosystem.
I see it more.
There is no ecosystem. You genetically created this ecosystem.
I see it more like hunt down
You genetically created this ecosystem. They're on this island. They have no connection to anything else on the planet.
What about the ecosystems around that island? Like you have.
You can bomb the island itself without hitting the water.
But you would still be irradiating the
Yeah,
water.
that thing would be.
You would just be talking about that area.
But that stuff carries though.
Yeah,
it's like
that can spread in
It depends on what size bombs you use.
It doesn't
and all
matter.
that.
Okay, I don't like this is getting way.
Yeah, it's getting off there.
specific.
But if you bomb an island, that thing, even if it's just like fish that were in there that aren't dinosaurs, gets radiated and then goes out. That's gonna hurt.
Let's get back to talking about Star-Lord riding dynamite.
If you have on-ground raids, that won't affect the water life.
No, but I mean, no.
That wouldn't affect the
You
water.
literally would have to go in there with hunters. Now that could be a movie.
The reaction wouldn't be bomb the dinosaurs, kill the dinosaurs, bomb the island.
It'd be kill them somehow.
The reaction would be let's sentence Bryce Dallas Howard to death.
Well, that too. I already stated that.
I know, but it wouldn't. No, but it wouldn't. Yeah, it'd be punish the creators. It wouldn't be punish the animals.
It would be. I'm pretty sure it would be both
I
because
feel like it
there's
would
going to be
just
that
be
group.
like,
So when a
hey,
lion, when a lion
season?
tamer gets eaten, do you kill the lion?
Again, I'm talking about
dead.
scale
That was his
of
fault.
tragedy is also a factor.
Here's what
chose to go to
Jurassic
the
Park
park.
5 would be is like
That's
like
not
you
the
said, we
same.
can't keep the dinosaurs here, so they're like this whole island is poaching season, and if you sign a contract, you can go in there and try and kill a dinosaur, but if you die, we are not liable for your death because you're the ones crazy enough to go in and try and kill, and that's the whole thing. It's just
There it is.
right there.
That's the fifth movie.
That's it. They have people that'll pay because they want to go. Because you see people in like Africa and stuff to pay
That's
to
the
go kill
fifth movie.
like animals that like all
You get
like
what you
cheetahs
want.
and yeah.
America gets what they want, which is just more dinosaurs.
And just guns and all kinds of
Guns,
shit.
man.
So it's like, all right, if you want to go, like, because they do that in like
Bradley
have
Cooper as
poaching
Chris
and-
Kyle
yeah.
in Jurassic Park 5.
Yeah, and there they go, and they go
Sheepdog.
in.
Sheepdog.
But if you get killed, that's not our fault because you're the crazy ass that wants to go and try and kill some dinosaurs. And then
See, in this one podcast, we managed to come up with an awesome TV show and an awesome sequel to Jurassic World.
that's
What do you
horrible
call
though.
a blind dinosaur? Do you think he saw it? If you saw the first movie, you know it.
Yeah, no.
I think you should just go back and watch the first movie altogether.
I think
not
that's a
bits
good.
and
I
pieces.
think that's a good spot to end it. Actually.
Okay.
Like I said, we came up with great ideas, but anyway, it was a good show. So, so thanks for joining us today, Tom.
Thanks for having me.
This was
This
a
was
lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll definitely have you more for
I'm down,
future
man.
episodes.
Ant-Man. I'll be back for Ant-Man.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Ant-Man.
He does not think it's going to be a good movie, and he's
gonna be
insane.
terrible.
Then I'll take your seat
It's gonna
that
be
day.
terrible.
I'll take your seat that day.
So
I'm happy to
anyway,
do it.
if you
It's
want to
fun.
join in on all this fun, follow us on Twitter and find us on Facebook. Please comment and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Like.
If you want to find Tom on Twitter, you can look up Tom K Video at Tom K Video, right?
Yes, and
Okay.
youtube.com/TomCraft. I do videography, but not very often.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. And of course, we'll have the links for you up on the screen as well. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And before we go, I just want to say rest in peace, Christopher Lee. He passed away
Dracula.
on Friday.
Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula,
He's Dracula.
Scaramanga, Count Dooku, and of course Saruman.
He is the scariest Dracula of all time.
They played Dracula like 6 or 7 times.
He made a heavy metal album in his 80s.
And 90s.
In his 90s, yeah, he did too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So anyway,
Godspeed.
Yeah, Godspeed, Christopher Lee. But anyway, thank you for joining us for Movie Cast. We'll see you guys next time.